Deal surgeons, elite masterminds, what's going on? This is Diamond Life. Yeah, and welcome to the Trader Psychology Podcast. This one right here is going to be really one for the ages, okay? But let's recap for last time we did this. Basically, I was talking about, I may have a link below or you can look on the psychology series, but the last podcast was basically about how to know if trading is really for you, okay? So I was talking about, what I think people should do, at what point they should stop, okay? Because you got some people out here who just don't have it in them to just stick with something no matter fucking what. But, if they have to stop, then I gave you a point where you would stop, okay? So yeah, today, we'll be talking about the trader, the starving artist trader, okay? So this podcast, this is going to be a fun one for me. It's called The Starving Artist Trader, okay? So I'm outside. It's a few cars and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to speak into the speaker so you can hear me. So this is something that I believe that people have to be successful at this, okay? The Starving Artist Trader. So what is that? Okay, so when you think about a starving artist, what do you think about? You think about Basquiat, right? Perfect Story. You think about these actors like Jim Carrey that come to Hollywood with nothing, and they just sacrifice everything for the dream. That's what the starving artist is, okay? And you have to see yourself as that person, and I'll explain to you how I'm exactly that person and was that person when I decided to start this journey. Everything I say is not hearsay. Everything I say is from experience. So the starving artist trader is somebody who's basically made a decision in the beginning to just risk it all for the dream, okay? So I have some notes in front of me, so bear with me. So basically when I got started with this in August 2021, August 13th, I had what you could say was a job in a way, okay? Basically it was a secure source of income, and I don't know, I think back to it now. I'm talking to you now in January 2024. It actually was a crazy decision when I think about it now, but I was willing to risk everything for the dream, man. So the way I thought about it was I actually left the job. I left the secure source of income, and I just was like, okay, I know how to sell. I know how to market. I'll figure it out. Like, I'm not going to die, right? That's how you should think about it. Like, it may be something you want to risk right now, your job, to do this trading stuff. It may not even be trading. Some people may be listening in just for motivation, but it may be, what I'm saying is you have to be willing to give something up for this shit, okay, for the dream. So with me, I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'll leave this secure source of income, but I'll figure it out. I'm not going to die. I'll figure something out. So that's what I did, okay? And so the reason I left the job is because the way I thought about it was, and I'm not telling you to leave your job because a lot of you don't have that in you. It's not like I had a whole lot of savings either. I just believe in me. I just believe that I can figure it out if I really believe in what I'm doing. So it's always been like that for me. But the way I thought about it was I was like, okay, well, if I work the job still, or if I go get a job, right? Because some people say, well, maybe I need to go get another job, or maybe I need to go get a job if I'm getting into this trading stuff. The reason I didn't do it is because I just thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, I spend 8 hours on the job, right? I'm probably spending 30 minutes to go to the job, then 30 minutes to get back home. That's 9 hours, right? And so you do the math, you do 9 hours times 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you see how much time is taken away from the dream. Because obviously I'm talking about all out focus, okay? So that's the reason why I did it. I was willing to starve. I was willing to be uncomfortable. I was willing to be laughed at, embarrassed, all for the dream, all for me getting the knowledge faster than if I had a job. That's why I did it. The starving artist trader. You have to be willing to experience those moments. Not saying that you will, but you have to be willing to experience those moments of shame, grief, disappointment. I'm talking about in the public eye. Okay, obviously you're going to experience that yourself when you're in drawdown, when you're experiencing hardship with trading, but I'm talking about experiencing this stuff in the public eye. I had people publicly see me, what people will call down bad, a few times. And yeah, it sucked, it hurt, but I was like, I don't give a fuck, because I'm like, I'm the one that's going to end up winning in the end anyway, based on the skill that I'm learning. So let me go to the next one. Okay. The next one is you have to understand that if you're going to be a starving artist trader, this is for the people that sold out. I understand there's some people that just want to do this passively. I'm talking about for the motherfuckers that sold out for this shit. That's who I'm talking to right now. If that's you, I'm talking directly to you. You may be listening to this 4 years from now. You may be listening to this 10 years from now. I'm not talking to the people that's on my podcast really today because it's not that many. I'm talking about to the people in the future. That's who I'm speaking to. The people that sold out for this shit. The people that's sick and tired of playing around with different things. They look at their life. They have not focused on one thing and stuck with it until that shit happened. So they look at trading and they like, you know what? This is bigger than trading. I have to stick with something until it happens. And guess what? If I stick with trading and it works, it's going to be a big life that I live. That's who I'm talking to. So if you decided to be the starving artist trader, or you can relate this to anything that you want to do, then you have to understand that your payment is not money. Your payment is progress. I'm going to repeat that. Your payment is not money. Your payment is progress. Am I getting better every single day? If you go back and listen to my other podcast, I told you that the answer for me was always yes. Now you have to redefine the definition of progress, because some people say, well, if you're making progress, you should be making money. Okay, I understand that part. That's true to a certain degree. But when it comes to this trading stuff, man, it's different levels to this stuff. Just because you understand something, just because you understand a concept by ICT, just because you understand supply and demand, which ICT don't teach. I'm just speaking to people who don't want to learn from ICT, but learning from somebody else. What I'm trying to tell you is that just because you understand a strategy, just because you know something, don't mean that you're necessarily going to actually do that when you see it in a chart with live money. You have to see things literally 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times. That's why you need to be practicing every single day, even on the weekends, trading crypto. Even though you trade gold only, even though you trade Forex only, you still need to be trading crypto on the weekends because price is still moving. Do it on lower time frames. The whole point is to understand the structure at a deeper level. I don't know about you, but I don't practice to get it right. I practice to never get it wrong. It's a difference. It's a difference. Steph Curry said he wasn't shooting the basketball to get it right. He said he was shooting the basketball to never get it wrong. It's a difference. So understand that your payment is not money, it's progress. Okay? If you like, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Okay? I only do that if I gave you value. Only do that if I inspired you. If I didn't, don't do it. This is only to inspire you. This is not for me. This is for you. Okay, so the next one is you have to like yourself, okay? So I remember a guy named James Ray. He actually ended up going to jail for sweat lodge thing that he was involved in. But he actually is a good guy overall. He just made a mistake, But basically one thing that he said one time years and years ago is he said, if you don't spend time alone with yourself, then I can guarantee you that you don't like yourself. And I remember thinking at the time, like, oh shit, like that's me. Like I literally could not spend time with myself. I always had to have a girl around. I always had to have friends around. And I remember thinking to myself back in 2014, 13 or whenever I heard that, I remember thinking like, God damn, if that's true, then I don't like myself. And if you want to be a starving artist trader, which you have to be to really master this skill, you have to go to that dark place. You have to go to that dark area, okay? But you really have to like yourself, meaning that you have to be okay with spending time alone with yourself. Like this whole journey that I've been on, I mean, I've never done anything like this, spending all this time alone with myself since like 2021. I've always been like an introvert, but this is the deepest I've ever been. Okay, but you have to really like yourself. And if you don't understand if you like yourself or not, then see if you can spend time alone with yourself. See if you can sit in a room by yourself for an hour with no clothes on, or just, with minimum clothing, and just just sit there and be alone with yourself. If you can't, then you don't like yourself. But to be on this journey, you have to like yourself, meaning you have to be okay with spending time with yourself, okay? Thanks for rocking. Thanks for staying with me. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, okay? So the next one is, this is how you deal with people because you're going to have people that judge you, okay? You're going to have people that judge you and say, what the hell, why did you quit your job? Or why is you focused on that trading stuff? Somebody did that and lost everything. But listen, these people who say these things about you, these people actually wish they was like you. Like what they're secretly thinking is, how can I be like that? I see that she's focused on trading and that's it. I brought a new opportunity to her or him and they didn't want to do it. I tried to bring this new girl or this new guy to this person. They say, I'm focused on trading right now, or whatever it is you're focused on. What I'm trying to tell you is that when you get judged by people who don't want to be sold out for one thing and to master a skill, they're going to start judging you. And I'm trying to tell you how to deal with these people. You have to have compassion for them, because they're secretly thinking like, how can I be like that? How can I be like her? How can I be like him? How can I actually, like, they can't get themselves to the point where they can focus as hard as you're focusing on trading right now, or whatever it is you're focused on. So they judge you, they talk about you, because they're thinking to themselves like, how can I be like that? Like they tried to do it, but they failed. They didn't have it in them. They didn't have enough gas in the tank to actually make that happen, okay? So don't judge these people. Have compassion for them, because they wish they were like you, okay? Let's go to the next one. The next one is I call the call, okay? Now, I got this from one of my, I don't like to say mentors, I like to say people I partner with, okay? So it was a guy that I was taking a look at when I first got started with this. And I remember it was right after he became a millionaire. He had like bought this big house, and he was sitting in it because it was empty. His furniture was on the way. And he was sitting on the ground, like, he was sitting on the ground with the camera on a tripod, and he just was talking to himself and talking to the camera. And he was like, I don't know when you guys are gonna, whoever's watching this video, he's like, I don't know when you have to decide, but he's like, you have to decide to embark on a journey where you're walking through the dark. It's glass all around the floor. You have no shoes on, and you have to navigate all the way till you find the door. So just imagine being he said that's the entrepreneurship journey. That's the decision to focus on something until you get it, and really mean that. Because a lot of you right now, you're focused on something, but secretly you're thinking, well, if this don't work, I can always do something else. If this don't work, then I can just go get a job. If this don't work, then I can just go lean on mama, lean on daddy. You know who you are. You have to get rid of that, man, if you really want to go to a deep level of mastery. Because for me, like I told you before, it was no plan B. It was no plan B. Secretly, it was no plan B. If you had a camera on me and people looked at me while I was doing this trading stuff, when I first got started, it was no plan B. Secretly. Even when I had the deepest losses, even when I had the lowest point in my life dealing with this trading, I still was like, with tears in my eyes, I said, I'm still gonna figure it out. I said, we not gonna stop. Ain't nothing gonna fucking stop me. I'm gonna continue to get up every day. I'm gonna figure this shit out one day. And one day I'm gonna be a motherfucking God. One day I'm gonna be that motherfucker can't nobody fuck with. And that's where I'm at right now with the charts. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you have to get yourself, this is how you get yourself to that point. You have to answer the call, is what I'm trying to tell you. The call is you have to give up everything and do this trading shit. You have to pack up, you have to burn the bridges with everything and do this. No plan B. You have to cut off everything. You have to answer the call. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is something I have in my notes called the call. You have to answer the call. Because I remember when I saw the guy on the video doing that, at the time I wasn't trading. I didn't know that I would do trading at the time, but I remember watching the video and I was like, I remember feeling scared, like, damn, I know that's what I have to do one day, but it's gonna be scary. I don't really know if I have it in me to actually follow through. Like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to pay for that if I'm just sold out on one thing? What if it's not working? So I remember being a little scared, but I remember thinking like, I have to do this one day. And I'm telling you, you're gonna have to answer the call. You're gonna have to do this one day. You're gonna have to answer the call, which means give up everything and do this trading shit or whatever it is that you wanna do, okay? So appreciate you rocking with me. Appreciate you, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, if I gave you value, okay? It's just 2 or 3 more. Thanks for rocking with me. I'm trying to speed it up. I know we're at 13 minutes. Okay, so this one I'm actually gonna do a whole podcast on, okay? This one right here is called, You Need to Choose a Skill Guide. A skill guide. I'm glad I said skill guide, because I was gonna say you need to choose a guide, and that probably would have made people feel weird. So what I mean by skill guide? For me, the skill guide was ICT. You need to be sold out to one motherfucker, man. That's what I mean by that. Even Grant Cardone said it. He said you need to find one guy and go all in on that guy or gal. Maybe 2 people, but definitely one person. You need to choose a skill guide if you really want to master trading. Okay, now, before I got on the ICT, I was on YouTube looking at multiple videos. I was on YouTube University, as they call it. looking at Jessica Lange, looking at, 5 other instructors. And I got onto ICT maybe a year and 2 months later. But when I got on the ICT and I saw that he was the truth, because I actually saw him like the first 2 weeks of my journey, and I thought he was just one of these people just trying to sell something. But when I actually got into him, I went all in. I forgot everything else, and I made him my skill guide. You need to choose a skill guide if you really gonna master this shit. You cannot be hopping around to different instructors. Yes, you can buy multiple courses in the beginning, but that's only to choose a skill guide. Does that make sense? I'll go into that at a deeper level. I just want to touch on that. Okay, let's go to the next one. You have to ask yourself, do you want to be good, great, or the greatest of all time? Okay, this is a starving artist trader. Okay, this is what I believe the mindset you have to have in this psychology series. Okay, you have to have the starving artist trader mindset, but you have to ask yourself, do you want to be good, great, or the greatest of all time? Okay, and so that goes back to how deep do you want to do this? Some people just want to do this to take signals and make money. That's okay. If you're a doctor, lawyer, or something like that. But if you want to be, if this is something that you sold out to, something that you're going to do and not do anything else, then you have to choose either being great or the greatest of all time. Like, you have to choose one of those two, in my opinion. Okay, so here's the last one. You have to make sure you're not counting the days. You have to ensure that you're making the days count. So don't count the days. You have to make sure that you're making the days count. This is so huge right here. If you're counting the days, if you're like, man, it's been 60 days, it's been 90 days, it's been 6 months, I haven't made any money, you have to stop doing that. If you really want this to work for you, you have to start thinking about it like for me, when I was doing this shit, and I'm still doing it, but it's like in the beginning, I didn't even know what day it was. I didn't even know what month it was sometimes. I'm like, goddamn, because I was making the days count. I didn't even have to write down what I was going to do the next day necessarily, because I'm like, I already knew it was going to be the charts all day. And so you have to stop counting the days and start making the days count. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying that because this is so important. You saying, well, it's been 6 months. The main reason is you thinking like that. That's the problem. That's why you have not been making progress, because you've been counting the days versus making the days count. That's why it's been 6 months and you ain't made no money, or you haven't made any progress. It's a difference between making money and making progress. Some people making money right now, but not making progress. It's a difference. Listen to what I just said. Some people are making money right now, but not making progress. What does that mean? That means that they're taking signals from somebody. That means that they're using indicators and don't really understand how the structure works. Okay? This is very temporary. This is building a house of fucking cards that I probably need to do a whole podcast on in the future. So this is the last one. I appreciate you rocking with me. You have to have a story in your mind like the Never-Ending Story. There's a movie out there I used to watch back in the day called The Never-Ending Story. You have to have the never-ending story in your mind of you winning. Okay, you have to have a story in your mind of you like having a story of how of how you came up through trading. This is what worked for me. Like, I had the never-ending story in my mind of like me finally figuring this stuff out, even though I thought many times it was going to be impossible. Even though ICT said I could do it, I'm like, I've been studying my ass off and I still don't get it. Like, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe it's not possible for me. But it's another podcast I have to do on how the brain will actually figure it out for you. And so yeah. But I just wanted to kind of hit on that. This is a starving artist trader mindset that I feel like you have to have when you're embarking on this journey of being a trader. Okay, so this is Diamond Life. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. Only if I helped you out. Only like the video if I gave you value. Okay, and just remember that you're a champion because you choose to be. All right, be great.